What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate, and welcome to my channel. I wanted to do one big, giant preview of all the Week 13 games, but honestly, there were just so many games that I wanted to cover this week, and the video ended up getting too long, even for what my normal video length is. So what I've decided to do is split it up, right? This may not come out until right after games have started, and for that I do apologize. Kind of a last minute change on my part, but this is my Week 13 predictions for the games on Black Friday. I got 6 of them that I wanted to talk about that are taking place today, and then tomorrow I think I have like 10 or so that I want to talk about, and that video will be up tomorrow morning for you guys as well. That'll preview games like Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, South Carolina, along with some of the other big games that are taking place there, right? So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and kind of dive on into Week 13 predictions. Oh, but before we do that, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Anything you can to help support the channel does mean a lot to me. Let's go ahead now and dive on in to your Black Friday predictions. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, by the way. And if you can, I know this is the college football channel, but the U.S. plays England in the World Cup today. Should be an exciting match there as well. But moving on, this is the football channel, Nate. Let's talk about football. Baylor is going on the road to play Texas Tech. Now, Baylor is out of the running for a Big 12 Conference Championship appearance. They are not eligible to defend their Big 12 title. Texas is able to still get there. Now, what would it take for Texas to get there? Well, first of all, Texas has to take care of business in this game. How are they going to do that? Well, the Texas offense is going to have to be balanced, and it has to be balanced enough to keep this Bears defense on their heels or on their toes. It's a Bears defense that can play a very physical style of football, and Texas needs to be able to mix up play calls with Quinn Ewers, with Bijan Robinson, both of which are some of the best players at their position in college football this year. Texas is going to have to be ready to kind of mix up some play calling here and keep this Baylor defense reeling back. However, can the Bears keep the ball out of Quinn Ewers' hands? That's something that the Bears did really well against TCU this past week. They were really able to keep the ball out of the hands of the Horned Frogs. I think they held the ball for, 32 minutes? So Baylor is able to control the clock, and they like to run the football first on offense. So the less time Texas has with the football, the greater chance it becomes that Baylor's going to be able to pull off a win. Baylor's going to be dangerous, but the Longhorns need to take care of business in this game. And if the Longhorns are able to take care of business, oh, by the way, all lines and odds are as of recording this video. If Texas is able to take care of business, which I'm predicting they do, I'm going to predict they win 35-27. This, of course, a game on Black Friday, as all these games are. A noon game on ESPN, slated to start here in just a little bit. And again, all times are in Eastern Standard Time, as you see on screen right there. But if Texas is able to take care of business, like I think they will today, then all eyes for the Longhorn fans, all eyes for the people in Burnt Orange are going to be on Kansas State and Kansas. Because if the Wildcats lose, Texas is in the Big 12 championship. But they got to take care of business first here, and I'm thinking that they do. How about this for a big-time matchup, huh? The Tulane Green Wave going on the road to play the Cincinnati Bearcats, and the winner gets into the American Athletic Conference Championship game. Oh my goodness, the stakes could not be higher for this game. In fact, you even look down there, the line on this game is flat even. Vegas is saying pick whichever team you think is going to win. It's going to be one of those types of games. It's going to be a dog fight, or a cat fight, I should say, since the Bearcats are here. What to watch for in this one? Watch out for the Tulane run game with Michael Pratt and Tajee Spears. It's been really, really good all season long, and it's got to be good here today against the Cincinnati defense that is very, very stingy, and we know how many playmakers they lost from last year. But this is still a Cincinnati defense that is capable of being able to have some big performances, and we've seen that from them this year. My question is, when or will the Green Wave defense take over this game? Because that's a defense that's also been pretty good. When you look on the other side of the ball for Tulane, that's a defense that has held up its end of the bargain more times than not. And Tulane might need a big performance here when you go up against Ben Bryant, and some of the athletes that are on the Cincinnati Skills Corps. Of course, as I just said, the winner moves into the American Athletic Championship game to face most likely UCF, as UCF is tiebreakers over both of these teams. But if UCF were to somehow be upset by South Florida this coming Saturday, then Tulane and Cincinnati would be rematching in the American Athletic Conference Championship game, and what matters here is mute. But for both of these teams, as of right now, you should not expect UCF to lose that game. You have to come in here, play with a lot of energy, play with some vim and vigor, and this is going to be a dogfight. But I do believe that the Bearcats are more suited for this dogfight, and I think their defense is going to come up larger than Tulane's defense will. So I got the Bearcats pulling out of this one to head in to defend their American Athletic Championship title. 26-23 is my final score. This the noon game, of course, on ABC. Honestly, both the games that I just said, going to be phenomenal games to watch. Can't wait to see what transpires here in this game. I got the Bearcats pulling it out, though. Woo, here's another interesting one. You remember the finish in this game last year? It was insane. It was crazy. North Carolina State going on the road to take on North Carolina. We had an exciting game last year. Or was it 2 years ago? No, I'm almost positive it was last year. That crazy ending and whatever happened to that. Crazy. The college football gods would be blessing us if we got another ending like that here in this iteration of the in-state rivalry. But looking at what both these teams are going to need to do to pull out a win here. First of all, both teams are going to be hoping for a great defensive performance. NC State, their defense, when their offense has held up its end of the bargain, the Wolfpack defense is more than capable of being able to shell out some big-time stops and some big-time performances as well. But North Carolina, on the other end of the spectrum, has not been so clear-cut and dry and all peaches and rainbows for them, right? This is a defense that, and I've said this before on this channel, has just continued to disappoint, right? It's a defense that has not really lived up to all the expectation put on it this year, the whatever expectation was put on at the beginning of the year, and it's a team that's very much so led by their offense in Drake May, and more on the offense from North Carolina in a second. But speaking of the offensive side of the ball, NC State's going to hope to get a really good offensive performance in this game. Of course, with Devin Leary going down, you had both of those running backs leave prior to this season. NC State is a defensive first team, but they're going to need that offense to pick it up today, because if North Carolina's offense and Drake May is able to really get it going, this is a Wolfpack offense that doesn't necessarily have a great answer for that as of right now. They got to be able to find an answer here while they may have to find an answer while this game is in the third quarter, right? Who knows what is going to transpire here. But I think eventually Drake May and company, and on the North Carolina side of the ball, that is the team that is going to end up taking over. They may find themselves down entering the third quarter or maybe even the fourth quarter, but I guarantee you that at some point in this game, and I'm going to bet on it being later than sooner, will North Carolina and Drake May be able to take this game over, which is why I have the Tar Heels winning this one 31-27. It's a 3:30 game on ABC. Should be a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully it's as exciting as that game was last year. But I do got the Tar Heels being able to pull it out. They may be looking ahead a little bit to that ACC championship game, but I still think that eventually they're going to be able to get the job done. Okay, this was kind of a sleeper game that I think not a lot of people are paying attention to this week because Missouri is going to be fighting for a bowl game here. Arkansas just clinched a bowl game last week with that dominant win over Ole Miss. The scoreboard does not show how dominant that win was. In fact, the stat sheet doesn't even show how dominant that win was. And Missouri has had some shaky performances this year, but they find themselves in prime opportunity to be playing for a bowl game. This is the battle line rivalry, again, on the line of Arkansas and Missouri there. The Hogs offense going to be looking to build on what they did last week. The Hogs are a 3.5-point favorite. Look, this on paper for Arkansas is by far the better team. But they have been really inconsistent this year. Let's see if they can take that past offensive performance this past week from just the sheer amount of rushing yards they were able to get, from the sheer amount of points they were able to put up, how quickly, KJ Jefferson's performance. Let's see if this offense is going to be able to continue to what they did last week and just put the beat down on a pretty good Ole Miss team. I know they just lost to Mississippi State yesterday, but Missouri, this is the Tigers' defensive line that doesn't get the credit that it deserves. It might just be able to get enough quarterback pressure for them to win the game, and that's a huge key for Missouri here, right? You got to be able to put pressure on KJ Jefferson if you want to walk away with a good result here in this game. But my biggest question here is which team can be more explosive. I think over the course of the year, we've seen that Arkansas is by far the more explosive team. But they don't do it consistently enough now, do they? Missouri, look, if you pit the Hogs in a corner, this is going to be a great chance for the Tigers to pounce and the Tigers to strike. And I think Missouri's going to keep this game close. Again, what's on the line here, right? Maybe Eli Drinkwitz's job. I know he probably just got an extension, I do believe, but maybe his job. But of course, more notably, Missouri's bowl game hopes. And I think they keep it close, but I don't think Missouri gets there. I think Arkansas pulls it out in the end, and the Hogs stave off their rival in Missouri, and the Tigers are going to be forced to watch bowl season from their couches at home. 27-24 is where I got this game finishing. All right. Big game in the Big Ten. The Nebraska Cornhuskers have well underachieved this year, and the rumors keep flying about who that new head coach is going to be. Meanwhile, the Iowa Hawkeyes over here find themselves yet again in prime position to clinch a spot to get into the Big Ten title game. All they got to do is get through this Nebraska team. And I know the game is in Kinnick Stadium. I know the game is in Iowa City, and I know Iowa is on a huge win streak in this rivalry. But something tells me that the Huskers are not going to be as easy to take care of as that 3-8 record may seem. First of all, though, the Huskers are going to need a big day from Casey Thompson, and especially Trey Palmer, Anthony Grant. It's not just limited to Casey Thompson. This offense has to have a big day because we all know what this Iowa defense is capable of. It's an Iowa defense that creates short fields for its offense. It's an Iowa defense that turns the ball over. And it's an Iowa defense that just plain doesn't allow a whole lot of yards. So Iowa definitely is going to have to be on its game defensively. But more importantly, the Huskers have to be on its game offensively. And speaking of offensively, which Hawkeye offense is going to show up? Is it going to be the Hawkeye offense that is stagnant, that doesn't really have a pulse? Or is it going to be the Hawkeye offense that, hey, you know, come down to it, they can play some half-decent football and put some points on the board? It's got to be that second my apologies, frog in my throat. It's got to be that second option for Iowa that shows up today. Again, Iowa looking to clinch their spot in the second straight Big Ten title game, and if they don't get it done here, all Purdue has to do is take care of Indiana. But I think the Hawkeyes will get it done here. Again, something tells me the Cornhuskers are just not going to want to go away in this game, and the Cornhuskers may jump out to an early lead, and they may lead at halftime, and people are going, uh-oh, shake up in the Big Ten. The Huskers are going to end this streak. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I do think that the Hawkeyes defense will step up, make enough plays, and can't believe I'm actually saying this, but the Hawkeye offense will put enough points on the board. I got the Hawkeyes winning this one 20-16. Close game in Iowa City, but I got the Hawkeyes heading back to a Big Ten championship game. And then the final game I'm going to be previewing here for Black Friday is going to be the Florida Gators going on the road to take on the nationally ranked Florida State Seminoles, 16th in the nation. Florida State, that 10-point favorite. They have been tremendous, and their only 3 losses this year, NC State, Wake Forest, and Clemson. All 3 losses that you can sit back and say, okay, I can understand why they ended up losing those games. But Florida State very close to beating NC State. They were competitive against Wake Forest and Clemson, But this is a Florida Gator team that, yeah, comes off a very, very surprising and disappointing loss last week against the likes of Vanderbilt. But barring that loss, Richardson can build off of what he did last week. I believe he threw for over 400 yards. He definitely threw for over 300 yards, and again, I can't remember the stat off the top of my head right now, but he definitely threw for over 300 yards, if not over 400 yards. By far, what many people consider his best statistical performance of the entire season. And Anthony Richardson can only build off of that. If the Florida State defense has to go against an Anthony Richardson that is going to be a dynamic playmaker and create a lot of great opportunities for this Gator team, the Seminoles may have a tricky time with the Gators in this game. But can the Gators stuff this dynamic Noles run game? Should be a question mark at the end of there, because it is a question, not a statement after all, because I'm very curious to see if it happens or not, right? This is a Florida State run game that over the past couple of years has just not been great. They haven't been able to find it, especially along the offensive line. This year, they've found it, and that run game is really, really good. And Jordan Travis is a quarterback this year that has been able to sling the ball pretty much all over the field. So we'll see if the Gators defense is going to be able to stuff this Florida State Seminoles and be able to make Jordan Travis win the game. That's a huge key for them. But is the Noles defense ready to play? I just hinted at it a minute ago, but if Anthony Richardson is going to come out here and shoot the lights out of Doak Campbell Stadium, we could have a game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. I think we will have quite a game on our hands. I just don't know that Florida is going to be able to keep up with A, the run firepower that Florida State's able to put up, and B, defensively. I don't know that Florida's going to be able to hang with them. And I don't know that Anthony Richardson and company are going to be as explosive as they were last week. So I got the Seminoles winning this one closer than what Vegas has it, but I still got the Seminoles pulling this one out by a score of 33-28. And with all of that said and done, those were my Black Friday predictions. I know there are more games going on today, but these were the games that I really wanted to talk about. So I split them into a separate video for you guys. Hey, sorry if this gets out like right before game time. This was a last-minute adjustment on my part, but I hope you guys enjoy your Black Friday. If you go shopping today, don't get trampled and don't be one of the crazy people. Please like, comment, subscribe, watch some other of my videos. Do anything you can, help support the channel. It means a lot to me. And remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. See all you guys tomorrow with my Week 13 Saturday predictions. We got some big games going on tomorrow. Goodbye.